Hello, everyone, and welcome to OST Live, a weekly broadcast on blockchain branded tokens in token economies built on OST. Simple Token, also known as OST, is a public blockchain platform that allows businesses to launch their very own branded tokens. And some of these businesses include today's guest, which is Traipse. And with us today, we have Darren Smith, which is CEO of Traipse. Darren, welcome to OST Live.
Thanks for having me.
So this episode is our weekly case study segment where we like to go sit down with a partner and sort of evaluate what they're going to do with tokenizing their business. So Darren, can you tell us about Traipse and how it works?
Sure. So Traipse is in kind of the tourism space and also local economic development. At its core, Traipse is about facilitating and gamifying the exploration of historic business districts. We also partner with institutions like museums and college campuses and that sort of thing as well. But primarily we work with partners like local tourism departments and downtown business associations, both to develop unique tour content for visitors and also locals, and also to serve as a platform for content that is generated by partners and even by users. So a Traipse tour, just to kind of explain what the traipsing experience is like. A tour consists of a series of stops that might be like historic buildings or monuments or murals, even kind of random curiosities, as well as independent merchants. And every Traipse stop has at least one what we call location-dependent challenge that users complete while they're there. And the app lets you choose among different tours. Some have themes like pub crawls or architecture or different things like that. You can also just look at a map of all the stops in an area. And then finally, the app also lets you build your own Traipse tour by telling it what you're interested in seeing and doing. So that's essentially what the Traipse experience is.
Great. So it's a touring application, except with sort of a twist. It incentivizes people to go out. So I've seen you compare it to sort of Pokemon Go, where people are incentivized to go out and interact with the world. So what's an example of a type of a challenge or a location-dependent challenge that somebody would accomplish?
Sure. So it's meant to be distinct from something like trivia. Like, you don't actually have to know anything in order to do and enjoy a Traipse tour, which makes it good for, audiences, including kids, people who don't know about the history of the place that they're in. And all of the stops are geofenced, meaning that the challenge doesn't activate unless you're within a certain range of that location. So you actually have to go there in order to complete the challenge. And the challenge usually has to do with something that is on a sign or a picture or something that's always there so that you can do the challenge at any time. But is still involves you having to look around and engage a little bit with your environment. The other thing is it doesn't involve things like, take a picture of your whole team standing in a fountain or something like that. We don't do like the silly scavenger hunt things, which I'm not a fan of.
Great. So can you tell us a little bit about the history of Traipse? How long has the application been in development? And the idea came from the Washington Post hunt. Can you tell us a little bit about what that is?
Yeah, sure. So it actually was inspired by two different things that I've experienced. One was as a kid in my hometown of Lawrence, Kansas. The radio station used to run an annual treasure hunt where they'd hide something and they'd give out clues on the radio, and then you could also get clues from going into local businesses. They'd have signs posted, and then the first person to find the treasure, and it usually took like a month or so for somebody to find it, won $1,000. And it just was a really cool idea, and it got the local businesses engaged and all that. So that was sort of in the back of my mind. Then the Washington Post hunt is what has become known as a puzzle hunt, that also up until a year ago was an annual event that had gone on for about a decade and is sponsored by the Washington Post, created by a couple writers and an editor, either for the Post or the Miami Herald, where they also have done this. And it's just a huge thing where like thousands of people come to one neighborhood downtown, and puzzles have been set up in different locations, and people have to go around and solve them. And then there's like a clue given from the stage at a certain time, and then everybody's running around trying to do the final thing. And I had so much fun doing it, and was actually on a team that won third place the first year that it happened. And I just didn't want to have to wait a year to do it again. And so I started thinking about, okay, how could something be like this? How could puzzles be made from the things that are always there? And then as someone with an urban planning background and training, I was also just thinking about how to help support local businesses and get people to appreciate like urban neighborhoods, historic neighborhoods with a lot of unique character.
So how long has it been since like officially starting the application?
Yeah, so the app launched in the spring of 2015. So it's been live for about 3.5 years. We released version 2 of the app. Let's see, that would have been in September of last year, so just about a year ago. And that's, I mean, everything up to that point was really just kind of trial. So that's how long we've been going. And you can, at this point, only use the app in a handful of locations in the Mid-Atlantic US, because our model to this point has been to kind of grow incrementally by partnering with local entities to develop the content.
Great. Can you tell us a little bit about the industry? Is there anything else like this out there? Is it sort of the first of its kind?
There are lots of other things that do something similar, but Traipse is the only thing that is doing exactly what we're doing. There are a lot of apps or services that provide directories of local businesses and even kind of serve as a platform for those businesses to provide discounts to people who are exploring. There are lots of companies that do like gamified tours, scavenger hunt things that are where you have to pay per use and you have to do it at a particular time. And then there are a few different platforms for crowdfunded tour content, whether it's Google Field Trip or different things like that. And even gamified tour content, but nobody else has been like we're doing, partnering with local entities to build high quality experiences that are both free and flexible time-wise for users.
Great. And now you've partnered with OST to tokenize your platform. So what are some of the goals behind implementing a branded token to Traipse?
Sure. So I think we're somewhat unique among OST partners in that we actually are not only trying to create a token economy for our Traipse ecosystem, but we're also trying to create a token economy for local commerce that would then be integrated with the Traipse ecosystem. So the goals that we have in that are both to build our base of users, both in number and geographically, by incentivizing various actions, including using the app, social sharing, contributing content to the app, which is, I think, what a lot of different companies are trying to do with tokens. but we're also trying to sort of unleash the power of the Traipse user community in support of local economies and independent businesses. And in order to do that, we are looking to establish an actual local currency, as many of these types of historic business districts have tried to do over time, but using actual paper money or wooden nickels or that kind of thing. But this would be the first instance of that being digital and blockchain based. And that allows merchants to save on credit card transactions. It encourages people to shop at local businesses. And it also allows us to then integrate that with the Traipse incentive structure, so that the rewards that people are earning by engaging with Traipse in various ways, they can then spend at the local businesses that they're already exploring using Traipse.
Great. So is the sort of the first use case, the first use case be sort of the token be as a reward for completing the challenges, and then to be used as a currency to use at the local businesses?
Yeah, but that won't be the only way that people will actually be able to obtain the tokens. So people will be able to buy into the kind of local currency system, local token, by actually converting from US dollars. And different organizations that we've already been talking to are interested in using tokens for their own incentive purposes, like the tourism department potentially using it as an incentive to get people to sign up for their newsletter. A local hotel giving out local tokens as part of a local stay package that then people would be able to use downtown. And so the integration with Traipse is really like juicing that economy, but the core of the token economy is actually all of these other transactions that are happening within the local economy that we can make more convenient, more secure, and more fun.
Great. So what's the involvement with the local businesses? I guess we'll move on to business model here.
Sure.
Does it work the same way as Pokemon Go, in which a business can work with Pokemon Go, the company, to have a Pokemon at their business, and then therefore people will go to that business to catch that Pokemon? Is it sort of the same concept?
It's somewhat similar, although our kind of core revenue is from those local partners, the organizations, so local tourism or local business development organizations, instead of the individual businesses, which allows us to, for one, it's just cleaner, it's easier, and those entities are already representing the local business community, and so they serve as a good proxy there. But it also means that we can make sure that we're including all the businesses that people are going to be interested in seeing and going to, even if that business isn't wanting to pay to advertise. So we're not, it's not like, I don't want to be too disparaging of Groupon, because I still use it, but it's not like Groupon or other things where you're only getting kind of the bottom barrel restaurants or whatever that are like putting Groupons on there or offering discounts. So businesses can then individual businesses can pay to sponsor a Traipse tour. So for instance, like if the pizza restaurant wanted to pay us to sponsor a tour, that would include, locations that they would select, and then it would end at the pizza restaurant and you would get, a free appetizer or a discount for completing the tour. We can do that sort of thing. But the core is from those organizational partners.
Great. So the businesses the businesses are involved within the challenge, right?
Yes. And so if, we go out to the businesses, we reach out to them and also work through our partners to reach out to them to figure out how they want to be involved with Traipse in their community. And, if they don't want to have people coming into the business trying to do a challenge, that's fine. We just do an outdoor challenge so that people, can just walk by and do it, but they still know that that business is there, and they still learn about it. But then they can tell us, I really would like the challenge to draw people's attention to, this product, or whatever. So we can tailor it to that. We can also then, we ask the businesses if they want to then offer a discount or other incentive to someone after they finish the challenge in the app. So we have, some business, like there's a business that, is like a fair trade merchandise thing, and anybody who completes the challenge in the app gets a free like little fair trade chocolate when they come in. So there are lots of things like that, and so yeah, we do work individually with the businesses, but they don't have to pay anything for that level of involvement.
Great. So with the token, so the user completes a task, gets a token reward, and then they're able to spend it at a local business. Is the business then able to either transfer the token to US dollars, or somehow reuse the token towards the token economy?
Yeah, so that the hope is obviously that they will kind of recirculate the tokens within the local economy, but they will be able to convert back to US dollars if they choose, and because of that transaction, the intent for this is to be a stable token. So it's always going to have, one local token will be one US dollar. Businesses can play with that exchange rate if they want to offer, discounts to people using local token to make purchases, but otherwise, yes. And we do want to kind of disincentivize through fees, especially for individual users, to convert back to dollars, so that they are really incentivized to keep local tokens in the system and spend them at businesses. The other thing that we intend to do is make it very easy for them to make donations to local charitable organizations with local tokens. So let's say they're in town for the weekend and they leave and they still have a balance of $5 of local tokens. We'll shoot them a notification that says, hey, would you like to donate that to X, Y, or Z organization?
Great. So you're going to create the token with OST blockchain technology. What sort of led you to OST and eventually choosing to use OST to create your branded token?
Yeah, so a lot of things. I think OST's model of trying to provide this as a service to businesses who are trying to tokenize economies is great, and it has really enabled us to get into this space without having to make a huge investment in our own blockchain, in our own code. We're still obviously going to have to and are spending money on those things, but this has really allowed us as a very small company to try something really innovative that we wouldn't have been able to do otherwise.
Great. So where are you guys in terms of development, and what are some next steps towards expanding geographically and getting more partners?
Sure. So we've been participating in the OST proof of concept challenges that have been going on, and sort of developing out our concept in that way. And we are at the kind of beginning stages of another fundraising round to raise investment money for kind of further development of what will become the local token app. But our intent is to have that ready to go by the time things go live early next year. And we also have kind of a partner for this in the Stanton Downtown Development Association in Stanton, Virginia, which had actually approached us a long time ago about replacing their downtown gift card program, which hadn't been meeting their needs. And that's actually where this all kind of came from, is us looking at different possibilities of how to do that, and realizing that this technology and OST's platform allows us to do a lot of really cool things that not only meet the needs of the Downtown Development Association, but really help us reach some of our goals as a company.
Great. So now ending the podcast, where can viewers learn more about Traipse if they want to go out there and try it out and try out a personal tour?
Yeah, so there are, like I said, several places in the Mid-Atlantic where people can try out Traipse, particularly in Virginia, as well as DC. There are a couple other cities that have some Traipse tours that we've done for conferences, like Pittsburgh and Kansas City. But anyone, anywhere can sort of open up the app and see how it works and see what types of locations are in the app. They just wouldn't be able to do the challenges because you actually have to be there to do the challenges. But we hope to kind of slowly convert from content creator to platform. Even though we serve both of those functions right now, trying to do all the content creation ourselves obviously means very slow going. And slow growth. But we think that being able to create this kind of incentive structure for users of the app will then allow us to grow using more user-generated content that we can just do a lot of great things with, and be able to grow to new locations very quickly. But in the meantime, if anyone wants to see Traipse in their city, they should certainly let us know. At info@traipse.co, and also hook us up with their local tourism people or their downtown business association or Main Street organization, whatever. We'd be happy to partner with them.
Great, and I'll go ahead and add a link to Traipse down below if you guys want to learn more. Also, be sure to check out the case study that's on OST's Medium page to get more information about the tokenization process and model for Traipse. Darren, thank you for joining us on OST Live.
Thank you, Jose. It's been great.